Justice League vs. the Fatal Five is the 34th in the DC Universe animated original movies series, and the second film set in the Bruce Timm era DC animated universe. It was produced and directed by veteran of the industry Sam Liu, along with producers Amy McKenna, Benjamin Melniker, and Michael Uslan, and was executive produced by Jim Krieg and Bruce Timm. In the 31st century, 3 members of the Fatal Five attack the headquarters of the Legion of Superheroes, with the aim of capturing their time travel device. Starboy, Saturn Girl and Brainiac 5 are the only Legionnaires present, and are quickly overwhelmed. Just as the villains activate the device, Starboy leaps at them and is taken along on their ride back into the 21st century. While the time machine descends down to Earth, Starboy manages to trigger a booby-trap Brainiac 5 has programmed into the device's computer, which traps the villains in a stasis field. Starboy comes down in Gotham City, while the time machine ends up in Metropolis. Starboy finds to his horror that his only supply of a mind-stabilizing drug he needs regularly has been destroyed by its rough landing. During his search for a replacement, his increasingly erratic behavior gets him arrested by Batman and interred in Arkham. The stasis-locked time machine is picked up by Superman and brought to the Justice League's headquarters for analysis. 10 months later, while trying to unlock the secret of the strange sphere, Mr. Terrific brings down the stasis field, freeing its occupants and setting off a series of events that will not only endanger the planet, but the very future itself. Design and style. The design is almost identical to Justice League Unlimited.
So basically it's perfect. Yeah, I think that covers it really.
Story and characters. Regular viewers of MetaView will know that I am ever so slightly biased when it comes to the Bruce Timm era of DC animation, in particular when it comes to Justice League Unlimited.
It changed my life!
That series impacted adventure-based animation and serial-based storytelling in a big way. Putting it bluntly, Justice League Unlimited makes the stories told on most of the DC live-action shows and movies look like they were written in crayon by people with learning disabilities. The film Batman and Harlequin was also set in the DCAU continuity, but it didn't really feature the League.
It doesn't mean it wasn't great fun.
Versus the Fatal Five is a straight-up continuation of Justice League Unlimited, and was written by Jim Krieg, along with Alan Burnett and Eric Carrasco. Eric Carrasco is one of the main writers and story editors on Supergirl, and has previously worked on Justice League Action and Legend Quest. Jim Krieg has an extensive career in the industry, producing as well as writing. His work includes the excellent Flashpoint Paradox, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, Green Lantern the Animated Series, Spider-Man the Animated Series, and the Scooby-Doo crossover episode of Supernatural, which was great. Alan Burnett is a veteran of the industry, writing and producing for all the DC animated series, including Batman Beyond, which he also co-created. His other writing credits include the incredible Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Freakazoid, Static Shock, Justice League Gods and Monsters, and Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. He is a pretty big deal. What struck me straight away with watching this was the feeling of being reunited with old friends. The interaction between the trinity of Wonder Woman, Superman and Batman is exactly as it should be. All 3 are at their peak in skills and experiences, and deal with this latest threat as the well-coordinated and close group of friends that we have watched them become over the years. It's a pleasure to watch. Also added to the lineup is Mr. Terrific, who was underused in Justice League Unlimited. Here he is an excellent addition to the dynamic. The producers made the decision to not feature all of the original 7, instead deciding to include new characters not seen before. Jessica Cruz, recently chosen to become a Green Lantern, is a really interesting character. Jessica is suffering from an horrific childhood trauma, which is impeding her use of her power ring. Seeing her potential, Wonder Woman has taken on the role of mentor. Also being mentored is Miss Martian, this time by Batman. She is young and rash at decision making, but also immensely likeable. And Batman's, well, Batman. The 2 characters' clash in methods is a good dynamic. Starboy is a very interesting addition. Suffering from mental stability due to a lack of medication, he isn't able to replicate in this time period. The relationship he forms with Jessica based on the 2 sharing mental health issues is actually the heart of the story. Another real strength of the film is its villains. The Fatal Five are an excellent match for the Justice League. Not an easy feat when you are considering the power levels featured. Tharok, Persuader, Mano, Validus and the Emerald Empress all share a great dynamic and are genuinely menacing. All the series set in the DC animated universe managed to include adult themes and elements. Now no longer confined to network television rules, this has increased, with stronger levels of violence and characters being showed to be killed on screen, and even a few swear words. But none of this is jarring to the story. Action. Versus the Fatal Five is directed by Sam Liu, a veteran of the animation industry. His previous work includes Batman Superman Public Enemies, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, Planet Hulk, All-Star Superman, Justice League Gods and Monsters, The Killing Joke, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, and Batman and Harley Quinn. The guy knows what he's doing. There are some fantastic action sequences set in some interesting locations. The stronger level of violence also works well with the interesting mix of power sets and use. Soundtrack. The true pleasure of being back in this universe with these characters is even more enhanced by the quality of the film's soundtrack, which was produced by the team of Michael McHuston, Lolita Redmanis, and Christopher Carter, who are the founders of Dynamic Music Partners. The three have been composing music for film and television for nearly 20 years, including the soundtracks to Batman Beyond, Batman the Animated Series, Superman, Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice, and the excellent Spectacular Spider-Man. Of special note is their work on Batman the Brave and the Bold, in particular the episode Mayhem of the Music Meister, a musical episode which featured all original songs written by the trio, as well as the singing talents of Neil Patrick Harris as the main villain.
It's better than Hamilton.
Versus the Fatal Five's original score is very good, but what elevates it is the use of the original themes from Justice League, Unlimited, Superman, and Batman. The timing of the use of the music with characters' arrivals or heroic moments is the perfect example of how to do nostalgia sincerely and to good effect. Voice cast. Possibly the best part of returning to this universe is the return of the original cast. George Newbern, Susan Eisenberg, and Kevin Conroy return as the Trinity, and it's awesome. No modern cartoon would be complete without Kevin Michael Richardson, who is literally in every cartoon made since the 1990s. Here he brings his considerable talents to Mr. Terrific. Daniela Bobadilla, whose previous work includes Anger Management, Perfect High, and The Middle, voices Miss Martian, bringing a genuine likability to the character. Diane Gurriero, best known for Orange is the New Black and DC property Doom Patrol, gives a fantastic performance as Jessica Cruz, who is really the main character of the story. Sumali Montano is a true veteran of voice work, with roles on Voltron Legendary Defender, Far Cry, Destiny, and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and my personal favourite character, RC in Transformers Prime. Montano is fantastic as the Emerald Queen, clearly enjoying herself as the most evil woman in the universe. Elise Gable is really good as Starboy, bringing a good balance to his unstable personality that doesn't cross the line into parody. His previous work includes Game of Thrones, Scorpion, and the excellent Dead Set. Rounding out the supporting cast are industry alum Tara Strong, Tom Kenny, Philip Anthony Rodriguez, Noel Fisher, Matthew Yang King, and Peter Jessup. Godfather of the DC Animated Universe and executive producer Bruce Timm also has a nice cameo. The Clancy Brown Effect. Whenever I watch any cartoon, the first thing I check is, does it feature Clancy Brown? Clancy Brown is one of the greatest things to have ever happened to cinema and television. His two most defining roles are as the Kurgan in Highlander and in the Bruce Timm era of DC as the voice of Lex Luthor. Still to this day, the best Lex Luthor. The man has done a lot of voice work over the years, to the point where his presence has almost been a constant in the most significant shows I watched growing up. As a result, any show not featuring him will never in my eyes be truly great.
Okay, so he isn't in this, but his Lex Luthor is in this universe, so technically, he is in it.
How meta is it? Returning to a universe with over 10 years of continuity, the film is full of nods to those previous shows, with some nice surprise cameos and use of famous locations. The inclusion of the Legion of Superheroes, who had appeared before, is a nice element to the plot, and gives the story real scope. And it's just a real pleasure to be back in this world again, and not just because Batman is in it.
It is a factor though.
Which is sadly the main issue with the film. Not enough time is really given to some of the newer characters to develop, and I couldn't help but feel that the story would have benefited being told as a mini-series instead of a movie. 4 Megaminds. Small gripes aside, the film is a good time. Well produced with clear love for the material from all involved, it's a worthy addition to the legacy of the DC animated universe. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, then please feel free to check out some of my other content. Until next time.